This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather, ho there. It's Chef Nerd, and welcome you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, February 17th, years ago, 23 years ago, the women's hockey was introduced into the 1998 Winter Olympics. And for the first time, it was a medal sport. Canada and the United States, as usual, were meet in the final, and Canada looked good. They won all of those competitions, with the U.S. taking second place. However, the Americans shocked the world by beating Japan in the championship. There were no qualification tournaments. The top 5 nations at the World Championships were entered alongside Japan. So that meant it was US, Canada, Finland, China, Sweden, and Japan. They would play a preliminary round to determine things. Before we get through to the women's thing, let's talk about the men's Winter Olympics. This was the first time that the men's team could have professionals playing for their national teams. Usually it was amateurs or the Soviets. Okay, quote unquote amateurs. But anyway, the NHL took a 17-day break from the competition because of the World Hockey Championships and all that. Things looked good. So there were 12 teams. No, there were all that. But anyway, there were 12 teams that got in through. But there was qualification. The top team in both groups A and B would advance to the main round with everyone else. Kazakhstan won their group that includes Slovakia, Austria, and Italy, which is weird because Slovakia seems to be the better country. But no, they didn't. And that was a huge blow, especially a tie to Austria. Holy Kazakhstan, man. It's amazing, all of that. Kazakhstan didn't really have a good goalie, all of that. In Group B, Belarus would nip Germany by a point to get there. France and Japan. Japan had one measly little tie to show for their thing. A tie with Belarus. Germany did beat France on the final day, but no. Japan did win the 13th place match. France won 11th and Germany won 9th. But now they got to the final 8. Russia, the Czechs, Finland, and Kazakhstan were in the first pool. Russia easily won all 3 of their games. Czechs were second, Finland third, Kazakhstan only last. Kazakhstan scored 2 goals in each game, but then they gave up at least 7 goals in each of them. Group D saw Canada, Sweden, US, and Belarus bunched in. Canada beat everybody. They beat Belarus 5-0. They beat Sweden 3-2. And then they take down the Americans 4-1, which was huge. So the quarterfinals had the Pool 1 winner taking on the 4th place team from Pool 2, and so on and so forth. The Czechs took down the Americans 4-1, which was huge. Worst of all in that thing is that the United States basically trashed their hotel room after their loss. Russia beat Belarus, no big surprise, 4-1. Canada beat Kazakhstan, no big surprise. But the big surprise was that Sweden lost to Finland 2-1. On 2 goals by Teemu Selänne. In the semifinals, Canada got taken out in the shootout by the Czech Republic 2-1, thanks to Robert Reichel being the only one to score a shootout goal, which is weird because usually shootouts we see in 5-round shootouts, we usually see 2 or 3 goals per team, but no, only one person scored, and that was Reichel on Waugh. Nobody could stop Dominik Hasek. Russia crushed Finland 7-4 with a great third period. Canada ended up losing the bronze medal game to the Flying Finns and all that. And the Czechs won 1-0 on goal by Patera. Canada was the oldest team in the tournament, with being 30 years old. Kazakhstan was the youngest. But Teemu Selänne and Saku Koivu both scored 10 points to lead the tournament in points. All that. No Czech Republic player was in the top 10 points. Shows you how good their team was. More about the team than anything. They had Baranek, Chekmanek, Dopita, Haverlik, Hasek, Hajduk, Kalinka, Yager, Kusera, Lang, Patera, Martin Prochasek, Reko, Brzezinski, Rusika, Yuri Slager, Shmalik, Spacek, Straka, Svoboda. It's amazing. Canada had their problems with their picks. Eric Lindros was named captain of the team, first of all, which should not have been anything. Rob Samner was put on the team instead of Mark Messier or even Scott Niedermayer. And Paul Correa, who was a Canadian of Japanese heritage, actually missed the Olympics thanks to Gary Sitter's stupid cross check in the regular season. And Mark Crawford, who was Canadian coach, opted to have Ray Bork go in the shootout instead of Gretzky or even Yzerman. There was even talk about a massive controversy. Ulf Samuelsson of Sweden actually applied for American citizenship, but under Swedish law at the time, when one acquires a foreign passport, the citizenship should be annulled. Sweden kicked him off the team after the first game. So yeah, that was huge. But now let's go with the women's event. U.S., Canada, Finland, China, Sweden, Japan were all facing each other. The top two teams after the round robin would go to the gold medal game, and in the third and fourth place teams would play for bronze. Not really a massive surprise, in a sense, that the U.S. and Canada would win. And the U.S. would actually beat Canada in the preliminary round, which was shocking enough. Finland would end up third, China would end up fourth in the preliminary round, so they faced each other for bronze. Sweden, surprisingly, didn't have a strong women's team at that time, but by 2006, they would change things around. Japan, the host team, only scored 2 puny goals. They scored 1 against Finland, and they scored 1 against China, but they couldn't even score against Sweden. So that's when China was good at women's hockey. Canada crushed Japan 13-0, beat China 2-0. Sweden gave Canada a fright. They even did fine. Canada would beat Finland 4-2, but then they lost 7-4 in their final preliminary round game, which was shocking. But then the bronze medal game, Finland easily beat China, despite giving up the first goal. Americans win 3-1. Sarah Tooting beat Manon Renaud in net. Ulion, Looney, and White all scored goals, whereas Daniel Goyette made it 2-1, but it was too little too late. Finland's Reka Nieminen ended up with the points total with 12. Daniel Goyette got 9, but the Americans had some good people. Karen Bai, Kevin Granado, Katie King, Gretchen Ulian, and Lori Baker. Sarah Tooting would be the goaltender of the tournament out of Manon Renaud. So yeah, amazing how the women's game changed. Canada would then get the revenge in the 2002 women's final in Salt Lake City by taking down the Americans on their home turf. It also didn't help that the referee was pro-American. Well, she was American. But despite having too many penalties called on them, Canada actually ended up winning the game against the Americans, 3-1. Canada would then go on to win the gold medal at every Winter Olympics since, including that 2014 shocker when they came back from 2-0 down late to the Americans in the gold medal game. So yeah, women's hockey is huge, and it shall remain huge. I'm Jeff Diamond. Ado.